Welcome to the Atwater City Council meeting. I'm calling the meeting to order. This evening we're going to have an invocation by Bill Mooneyham and then the Pledge of Allegiance by the interim city manager. But as we stand, we're going to please stand, and we're going to have a moment of silence for the passing of our former mayor, Joan Fall, who passed away a few days ago. So, in Joan's memory, we're just having a moment of silence. Okay, Bill.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we are thankful that you have allowed us to be here this evening. We ask that you would watch over everyone here, especially the council members, and we ask that you watch over the agenda items. We ask that hearts and minds would be agreeable, that all agenda items would be hashed out in a pleasing way to you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
All right, can we have the roll call, please?
Ambrose?
Here.
Kale?
Here.
Raymond?
Here.
Rochester? Here. Nelson?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, so we're doing something a little bit different here this evening. I'll read this statement here. In accordance with Senate Bill 707, this meeting will be conducted in a hybrid model with both in-person and virtual attendance. You can attend this meeting remotely using Zoom. The link to join is at the top of the agenda, which is located on the city website. So I got that. So do we have any subsequent need items?
There are none.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the agenda as posted?
So moved.
Second. Okay, motion by Raymond, second by Rochester. Ambrose?
Yes.
Kale?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
Rochester?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
The motion passes.
All right, so tonight we have two recognitions, but we're going to start off with the recognition of Geneva Olalia. She designed the budget cover for the 2026-2027 budget. And there's the artwork right there. And Geneva, if you would please come forward. You can bring your mom with you if you want, but you don't have to, but you can. No, you don't get the microphone yet. Just hold on. How old are you? Where do you go to school?
Peggy Elementary School.
Oh, very good. My wife was a teacher at Peggy Heller long time ago. Anyway, the city likes to award you this recognition for winning the City of Atwater budget cover contest and sharing your creativity with the community. I'm going to give this to you. You're going to hold this. Your mom's going to take a picture of you and me. Okay. And I want to give you the special present off my lapel here. This is the lapel pin for the City of Atwater. You can wear that when you go to school, and you can show people, your classmates, that look, I'm a winner. Okay? All right, congratulations. I don't know. going to go sit back down, and then I'll do the rest of it. Okay, so our second presentation is for the recognition of the City of Atwater Community Academy participants. This past couple of months, over the past 5 weeks, these individuals dedicated their time to learning about local government, city services, and the many departments that help serve our community every day. I came to, well, at least one of the events, and it was truly rewarding to see their enthusiasm and engagement and willingness to learn how the City of Atwater and all cities really work. They had thoughtful questions and many discussions throughout the program. So on behalf of the City Council, I want to thank each participant for their commitment to the program and to the city. And I definitely want to thank our staff, Interim City Manager Martin, Human Resources Director Janice Souza, and the Deputy City Clerk Gisela Peralta for their help in putting it all together and actually presenting the classes. So that's good. Now they already received their, how's it called, diploma last Thursday at the last class, and I think we had 13 people show up there. So we have asked them if they could be here tonight, and if they wanted to, ask them to come forward and just give a few words about what they thought about the academy and if that would be something they would encourage others to do. So, Patrick, you look like you're ready to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Patrick Smith. I wanted to attend the academy because I wanted to meet some of the leaders of our community. Fairly new to the community and retired, so I didn't work in the community, so I didn't know a lot of the leaders of our community, so I thought this was a great opportunity for me to meet with them. I joined Rotary a couple of years ago, and of course I know Mike and Sylvia Nelson, and I just thought that this class, the academy, the guests, those that spoke and ran each of these sessions was a perfect opportunity for me to meet those individuals, and I think it's going to be a good opportunity for us in future partnerships with the Atwater Rotary Club too. And I have to say that there was a lot of great minds, young adults there, and I think they're going to be some future leaders of our community from that class. Thank you.
Thanks, Patrick. Stephanie, you look like you are ready to speak. With that sparkly jacket.
Hello, council and staff. I just wanted to say what an absolutely incredible experience it was. It was really inspiring to see the level of transparency and genuine outreach from our city. Having the opportunity to look behind the scenes and see how things work builds the trust and connection that makes our community strong. I loved getting to meet and chat with our city staff leadership. Seeing their dedication to our city firsthand was amazing, but what stood out even more was their message to us, an open, encouraging invitation to get more involved and engaged in our community, which I greatly appreciated. I hope that the city continues to champion and grow this academy for years to come. I'm so grateful to have been a part of it, and I want to say thank you to all the city staff who have put this program together. So thank you for the opportunity.
Great, thank you. Anybody else from the academy that would like to say a few words? Rosario? You came here, so I know you have something to say. Not to put you on the spot, but I know you can do it.
I just wanted to say that I'm very thankful to being a part of it. I learned a lot. I learned that it takes so much work, hard work, from all of you guys, City Works, everybody, to be able to keep the city running. And I also learned that you know, that you guys care. You guys care about the community. Otherwise, you guys wouldn't be doing this. And I would totally recommend it to my family members and neighbors. And I'm very thankful.
Great, thank you. Anybody else that I see here? Anybody else? Well, you don't have to. It's not, I did put Chayo on the spot there, but you did good. You did fine. Okay, so that's recognition of that. We're going to be doing a future academy sometime, and we're also looking at doing a more advanced academy for the graduates of this academy. So we're hoping to raise up some new leaders for the city, younger people. So, all right. So our next presentation then is the Air Museum. There. Okay, we will have them at another time. Okay, so we're going to move on now to comments from the public.
At this time, any person may comment on any item which is not on the agenda. You may state your name and address for the record, however, it is not required. Action will not be taken on an item that is not on the agenda. If it requires action, it will be referred to staff and/or placed on a future agenda. Please limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes.
All right, so under the Brown Act, members of the public must address the city council as the legislative body of the city. They're not to address other members of the public or the staff. As previously mentioned, this meeting is conducted in a hybrid model with both in-person and virtual attendance. To request to speak, this is if you're doing it virtually, either use the raise hand function in Zoom or dial *9 if joining by phone. I am now opening public comment.
We do have a speaker card from Shantae Dobbins.
Yeah, Shantae, come on up. Oh, sorry.
Mayor Nelson and council members, because it's 3 minutes, I'm going to speak real fast. My name is Shantae Dobbins, and I am proud to be a business owner here in Atwater, California for more than 38 years. Tonight, I have the privilege of speaking on behalf of my family's nonprofit organization, Exhortation to Unity. Our mission is simple, but powerful. We're here to serve our community through compassion. Through our monthly brown bag lunch program, we provide nutritious meals to seniors experiencing food insecurity, veterans who have faithfully served our country, and individuals and families who are unhoused or in transition throughout Merced County. Every dollar we raise goes back into serving our community and moving us closer to our goal of purchasing a mobile outreach unit so we can reach even more people in need. I'm here this evening to personally invite each and every one of you to our second annual Legacy Ball, the Masquerade. It's taking place Saturday, August 22nd at 5 p.m. at the APC Hall here in Atwater. Last year's inaugural Legacy Ball was truly unforgettable. It brought together community leaders, businesses, families, and friends for an elegant evening of celebration, purpose, and generosity. But it wasn't just a fundraiser, it was an opportunity to recognize and honor the incredible people throughout Merced County who are making a positive impact in our communities. We believe that those who quietly serve others deserve to be seen, celebrated, and thanked. This year promises to be even more exciting. We invite you to wear your finest attire, add a masquerade mask, and enjoy an evening filled with exceptional food, live entertainment, meaningful recognition, and wonderful company, all while supporting a cause that changes lives. Council members, we would be honored to have each of you join us. I have flyers available to you this evening, and tickets are available at legacyball.net. Tickets are also available for those who would like to attend with family, friends, and colleagues. If you enjoyed last year's event, I can confidently say that this year's Legacy Ball will be even more memorable. And if you weren't able to attend last year, this is your opportunity to experience one of Atwater's most elegant evenings while investing in a mission that serves the very heart of our community. Thank you for allowing me to share with you our mission. We sincerely hope you'll join us on August 22nd as we celebrate legacy, honor service, and continue making a difference together. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the information.
There are no hands or nothing.
Well, that's my next thing here. Okay, is there any other members of the public who'd like to speak? We don't have anybody online, so. Jeff Jeet, how you doing?
Check, make sure you guys can hear me. Is it okay if I hand some paper materials real quick.
Give them to the city clerk. We'll see him later. Yeah, she'll pass him out later.
I'm gonna need all of my time back too, if that's okay. I did my best to time this at 3
We can
minutes.
do that.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, members of the public. My name's Japjit Singh Upal. I serve on the City Council in our neighboring city of Livingston, and here to comment on an issue that is relatively unnoticed, but is by all means a major public safety crisis, and it's the massive rise in costs for fire trucks and the delivery wait times for them. We have fire experts here tonight. Would love for you to hear from them on this at some point. Long story short, in the last 5 to 6 years, prices for fire trucks have just about doubled, if not tripled, depending on what specific engine that you're looking at. And the delivery times have gone from maybe anywhere from 6 to 10 months to sometimes 2 to 4 years, if not longer. In Livingston right now, we put in an order for a truck late 2025. We're not expected to get it until spring of 2027. And as we know in our business, delays are just about always going to hit. Root of this issue is well documented. I know in Atwater, you guys run your fire services through CAL FIRE. I'm not sure if you own your own fire trucks, but whether you own your own trucks or you're getting it through CAL FIRE, your cost is built in regardless when it comes to these types of materials. And the reason why things have gotten as crazy as they have over the last couple of years is because there has been a massive amount of consolidation in the fire truck industry. If you look at the market right now, just 3 companies make up 80% of the market share. One of these companies has a $4 billion backlog in trucks, right? It's why it's taken so long for us to get what we need. And when you ask their CEO about how he feels about it, he's very happy. Their profits are higher than they've ever been before, and he thinks they have a competitive advantage. Now, big picture issue, I don't like to come with just problems. Thankfully, there are solutions at the table, and we have our folks in Cal Cities at the state level, our state fire associations that have been pretty vocal about this. They're doing a lot of advocacy up in Sacramento. But just one thing that I've kind of seen locally is I don't see a broad grassroots coalition of support from local cities and counties anywhere in the state. And I think that us here in our region, if we decided we wanted to, we could really be a leader as a region in the state to get some local push behind this. Again, we have our folks at the state level that are already doing the brunt of the work. But if we want our state leaders to take action with laws that are already on the books to create more competition in this industry and go after these companies, I think it's going to take a little bit of advocacy from our end. And so I have essentially 2 asks from you. One is to be open to drafting a letter of support as it relates to this item. And the second one is to just identify your Cal Cities designee that I might be able to get in touch with. I'm going to send some correspondence to all of you over email as well. If you want to give me a call, chat at any time, I'd be happy to. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll let the interim city manager look into that. Thank you. Anybody else?
Hello, my name is Mark Reckesins. I'm a member of Victory Baptist Church and one of the leaders there under Pastor Richard Miller. And as some of you know that have a relationship with Pastor Miller, he is transitioning on to pastor another church, back to his home church in Iowa. And we're going through a transition period of new pastors. And Pastor Tini is joining us tonight, along with one of our other leaders, Bill Mooneyham. And I just wanted to put out an open invitation to the folks of the community that Pastor Miller, or Rich Miller, as some of you may know, that has had interactions with him as he served on the chaplain. And I sent an email out to the mayor and a couple of other community leaders to extend that invitation out. But it is an open invitation at our church at 1280 Sierra Vista Street in Atwater. It's Sunday, August 16th at 10 a.m. for a morning service and a food fellowship with a recognition service to to honor him and his time here serving in Atwater over the past 16 years. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Anybody else?
Yes, thank you. On behalf of the Atwater 4th of July Committee, I want to come before you tonight to thank the city, in particular the police and Public Works. You did an outstanding job. And, you know, also, Janelle, thank you for your support, and everyone else in the staff, anybody that lent their hand to making this an event that we really, truly just enjoyed this year. I don't know how many people were out at that parade, but I'm telling you that that was the biggest crowd. In the 16 years I've been doing this, it was the biggest crowd I've ever seen out there. And from what I understand from folks that, you know, could see this sort of thing, people were parking as far away as Bellevue and walking in for the parade. That just tells me, you know, what a great event this really was. And I want to thank all of you for your support and for the public support. You know, the public just enjoyed this thing, and that's who we do it for. We do it for the community. We do it for everyone that wants to participate, and we do it for the love of this country and the 250 years that we were there. I want to also tonight kind of divert from those comments, and we've already, you know, done a moment of silence for Joan Fall. Joan had a special place in my heart. I took office behind Joan, and a classier lady you would never know. I do, however, tonight want to recognize an angel of this community, and he'd pound on me for calling him that, but I want to recognize Frank Petro. Frank Petro has been a true, as I said, an angel to several people in our community that have passed. He started with Larry Lee, one of the chaplains that we had here in the community. He then saw to the needs and comfort of Rod Dash during his time of cancer and then a stroke, and to his passing, and most recently with Joan. He took the time to look for their needs and give them comfort wherever he could. And nobody knows about this, but I'm putting his business in the street tonight. If ever there was an angel in our community, Frank Petro is that person, and God has a special place in heaven for him when his time rolls. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, seeing nobody else come forward, I'm going to close public comment. And I'm also going to tell Geneva, you and your family are more than welcome to stay if you want, but if you feel like you want to go home, that's fine. That's not a problem. Doesn't count against you. So. Okay, now we're on to the consent calendar.
Background information has been provided on all matters listed under the consent calendar, and these items are considered to be routine. All items under the consent calendar are normally approved by one motion. If a council member requests separate discussion on any item, that item will be removed from the consent calendar for separate action.
Okay, is there any public comment regarding the consent calendar?
There are no raised hands.
Okay, is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak on the consent calendar items? Okay, seeing nobody come forward. I do want to make one comment about items. I don't want to pull it off. I just want to make a comment on the notice of completion for the street overlays and also approving of specs and calling for bids for the East Broadway project. Just want the public to know your voice does get heard sitting up here. We often get accused of not listening, but those road projects came about because of public input. So I want to thank you for your public input, and I want to thank Public Works for making it all come together. So, go ahead.
I just have more of a question related to item 4. I don't know that we necessarily need to set it aside, but I do have a question.
It's a quick question. We can dispatch with it. We don't have to pull it.
I'm glad to see that the project's completed. I'm just wondering, how long will it take us, Justin, until we can start really getting a good measurement of the water usage at Castle for the county?
We already have. It's been about 40,000 gallons per day since July 1st.
Okay.
And that's what we've been billing them currently. But it will go up in the wintertime because they have a combined system. So their stormwater infiltrates their sewer, which will increase the gallons per day.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Are there any items that the council would like to remove for separate discussion? See nobody. We need a motion to approve the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion by Raymond, second by Kale. Rochester?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
Kale?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Okay, we're on to public hearings. Item 6, confirming and amending the engineer's reports and ordering the continued maintenance of the City of Atwater lighting and drainage and landscape maintenance assessment districts and levy of assessments for fiscal year 2026-27. Johnny?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And I'm opening the public.
Okay.
I'm opening the public hearing. Now you can go.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, members of the public. My name is Johnny Land. I'm Community Development Director for the City of Atwater. The city currently operates various maintenance districts within its jurisdiction. These are to pay for the ongoing care, operations, and maintenance of storm drainage facilities, street lighting, and landscaping improvements, and they're paid by the property owners that receive the budget. Before you is information regarding those assessments, and in some cases, some increases to try and to mitigate the cost increase of taking care of those facilities. So it is staff's recommendation that you open the public hearing and take testimony, close the public hearing and consider comments from the public, and then adopt resolution number 3638-26, confirming and amending engineers' reports and ordering the continued maintenance of the City of Atwater lighting and drainage and landscaping assessment maintenance districts and levy of assessments for fiscal year 2026-27. Or motion to approve staff's recommendation as presented. And I believe our consultant is here for online for any questions, to answer any specific questions about those districts and the managing of them.
Okay, thank you. Does council have any questions?
Yeah, I know one of the primary concerns I've always had with this is people paying for the service and not receiving them. I don't know where we're at today. Maybe Justin can help out with that, or Johnny, either one of you guys. You know, seeing some of these are doubling, tripling, and then some are being decreased, and then we still have other districts that we're funding out of the general fund that, you know, people don't pay into. How do we come to a point where we can break even without going into reserves with what we have? And are we receiving the service that people are paying for at this point?
Well, you're only able to increase it by so much every year. So it's going to take a while to probably catch up. And then there's some that you can't increase because they were passed previously, but on a previous law that you can't increase the cost. So the general fund's more than likely always going to have to pick up for some of these current ones. But Joe's Landscaping's been taking care of them. They've been doing a good job. We do have to, you know, oversee them and sometimes tell them to get to some things, but they've been a lot better than previous contractors were.
Follow-up to that?
Yeah, well, one thing I also noticed in the report is that we pay Wildan for each district. So, you know, that cost can jump. Is there a way maybe we can combine districts to lower that cost? Is that something we could do?
You can't consolidate or annex the districts into one another without going through a whole new Prop 218 effort. And as Justin said, a lot of these are pre-Prop 218.
Right.
So they're not getting any escalators on them.
Now, what we can do in the future, Brian, is create a citywide CFD, but that won't take care of the previous ones. That would be for any new future development.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
No other questions? Okay. Is there any public comment on this item?
I'm just curious with the cost, especially where it's escalating, how much of that is being budgeted to include contract type companies? I know that we had contractors doing landscaping before. Are we still doing that? And does these numbers reflect that type of in the increase? And also with the lighting, I'm just curious if contracting could be done to do something with the lighting as well.
Justin, that'd probably be in your bailiwick.
Yeah, the for the maintenance is still a contractor. We did look in to see if we hired 2 city staff members to do it, and it would be more expensive. And then for the lighting, long term, maybe we're looking at trying to add a standard for solar lighting for street lighting, and then maybe if we can convert some of those over to solar street lights, it may lower the cost.
And not all the lights belong to the city, though. Some belong to PG&E, is that correct?
Not in these districts.
No, not the districts. Okay, great. Thank you. Any other? So I was asking for public comment. Jim? I believe we have gone out to bid for landscaping. Yeah,
For it.
we've had Joe's Landscaping for several years now.
We went out to bid probably like a year and a half ago now. We had 4 contractors, and Joe's was the cheapest.
Okay, seeing nobody else come forward, I'm going to close the public hearing. We need a motion.
Motion to approve staff's recommendation as presented.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay, motion by Ambrose, second by Kale. Kale?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Rochester?
Yes.
Raymond?
No.
Nelson?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay, now we're on to reports and presentations from staff. That's what most of you are here for. A review and discussion of the draft residential traffic calming policy. And interim city manager Martin will take the lead on that.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge that the Tejeda family is here with us tonight, and we thank them for being here with us, and they've been able to give us quite a bit of feedback regarding the policy. I had the opportunity to speak with Christopher's grandfather, and I appreciate him taking the time to speak with me. And again, I want to express the city's sincere condolences to the family. I also want to thank the family and the public for sharing their thoughts with the City Council at the June 22nd meeting. Their comments were considered as staff worked with JLB, Traffic Engineering. Jose is here this evening to assist in the process with any, Jose from JLB Traffic Engineering, to assist with the process of any comments that we receive, as well as staff. The purpose of tonight's item is to receive the City Council's feedback on the draft residential traffic calming policy, including the proposed process, traffic calming measures, and implementation procedures. Following tonight's discussion, the draft policy will be made available for public review and comment, and staff will consider all the feedback that's received, working with JLB Traffic Engineering. And on August 10th, a final policy will be brought before City Council and adopted by a resolution. And with that, staff and our traffic engineer will work together, and we'll hear public comment from the rest of the public. As well, we've worked with our City Council member Raymond, and we've talked about possibly naming the traffic policy in the name of Christopher Tejeda as well. And we've talked with the grandfather about that as well. So we'd like to talk about that tonight also.
Does the council have any questions for staff? Okay, I have one question here. So this is a policy document, it's not a funding document, correct?
That is correct, Mayor. So anytime that we have a policy come before council, something such as this, anything that talks about funding comes back when it is in regard to fiscal items, because you don't want to have something that is tied to a fiscal matter when it is a policy document.
Okay, thank you. Okay, if there's no council comments, I'm going.
Mayor, so if I may, so to piggyback off that, once we come up with a policy directive, then we can talk about funding mechanisms.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is there any public comment on this item?
Good evening, Mayor, all staff, and city council members and members of our community. My name is Christopher Tejeda, as some of you already know. First, I'd like to thank the city manager, and everyone involved in preparing the draft residential traffic calming policy. The fact that Atwater has taken the initiative to develop a formal traffic safety policy shows that you recognize the issue deserves attention, and for that, I sincerely am grateful. As I read through the draft, I found many things I support and recognize these: speeding, poor visibility, pedestrian safety, and the need to protect children. Those are important priorities, and I appreciate the work that's gone into this policy. However, I believe it can be stronger. As written, every request begins with temporary measures and a mandatory 60-day waiting period before permanent improvements are considered. When a child has already lost their life, time matters. I respectfully ask that the policy include an expedited process for locations involving fatal or serious injury collisions so engineering reviews can begin immediately. I also believe public safety should be guided by engineering data and proven safety practices, not by whether enough neighbors return ballots. Community input is important, but protecting children should never depend on the popularity of a stop sign or a speed bump. I also noticed that the policy addresses clearing vegetation and other obstructions to improve visibility, which I appreciate. However, I do not see any specific language addressing commercial vehicles, trailers, or oversized vehicles that obstruct sight lines on residential streets. Those visibility hazards can be just as dangerous, and I respectfully ask the city to consider including them in the policy. Finally, I'd like to ask one question outside of the policy itself. School begins in just a few weeks, and the location on Bridgewater, where my son, Christopher Tejeda Jr., lost his life, remains a concern for my family and for many members of this community. Is the city planning on any immediate safety improvements before the school starts, whether it's additional signage, increased enforcement, temporary traffic calming measures, speed feedback signs, or improved pavement markings? Are there any steps that can be taken now while long-term improvements are evaluated? I also respectfully ask the council to consider directing staff to evaluate the Bridgewater corridor before school begins and provide a public update on what immediate safety improvements can be implemented. I'm not standing here asking for special treatment because my son was Christopher. I'm standing here because the next child could be someone else's. The true measure of a community is not simply how it responds after tragedy, it's what it does to prevent the next one. Christopher's life mattered. Every child in Atwater matters. Let's work together to make this policy one that not only responds to danger, but help prevent it before another family experiences the same loss that we feel. Thank you for your time, your consideration, and your commitment to making Atwater safer, a safer place for every child and every family. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll answer your questions. As the questions come up, we'll wait till the end. We'll close the public hearing, and then city manager can make comments on it. Whatever. Okay. All right.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, city staff, and members of the community. This issue is deeply personal to our family. At the previous City Council meeting, Councilmember Brian Raymond suggested that the traffic safety improvements resulting from Christopher's death be known as Christopher's Law or something there too. And thank you for your comment just today, which answers some of this. Excuse me. Our family was deeply honored by that suggestion. We respectfully request that the City Council formally adopt the name Christopher's Law as the title of this traffic calming and pedestrian safety program, so that every improvement implemented under this policy serves as a lasting reminder of why these protections exist. Our hope is that Christopher's legacy will extend far beyond a single intersection Every future traffic safety, excuse me, improvement made under this policy should stand as a reminder that one child's life changed our community and that no other family should have to endure the same loss. Suggested policy language, obviously the legality of it is with your city, but maybe Christopher's Law should read that the City of Atwater hereby establishes Christopher's Law as the city's residential traffic safety and traffic calming program. The purpose of Christopher's Law is to promote the safety of pedestrians, bicyclists, school children through proactive engineering, education, and traffic calming measures in residential neighborhoods. In addition, the policy should include the following provision. Following any fatal traffic collision involving a pedestrian, bicyclist, or child on a residential street, the city shall initiate a comprehensive roadway safety assessment within 30 days. The assessment shall evaluate roadway geometry, sight distance, traffic speed, pedestrian and bicycle facilities, parking restrictions, traffic control devices, and other engineering countermeasures that may reasonably reduce the likelihood of similar future collisions. This language does not assign fault or predetermine liability. It simply ensures that every fatal collision involving a vulnerable road user automatically results in a prompt professional engineering review so lessons can be learned and appropriate safety improvements considered. We respectfully ask that in regards to my son-in-law's comment, schools come in pretty soon, and we're respectfully asking that a countermeasure be implemented at the intersection of the fatality, a stop sign, temporary speed bumps or whatnot, because the issue is still happening with traffic going too fast in that blind corner in that area as far as the way we see it. We reviewed the draft proposal, and for that, it's gonna take maybe 2 more speakers. My time's running short, so they're gonna piggyback off of what I have written, if that's okay. Carlos, please. Start right there.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. So I'll continue over with my father-in-law's speech. For the draft proposal review, there are several places of concern where we think the policy could be substantially improved before adoption. First and foremost, one of our biggest fears is that all of this is just an exercise to appease us, and this will be all talk and no action. This is why we are after a permanent law. To this point, Councilmember Kale stated in our last meeting, in my district, we tried to put calming measures on Fruitland Avenue, and we got nothing but kickback, even though we attempted. I flat out told them that we had a child who was injured, and they still didn't rent it. This draft is a first step, but as written, is largely a reactive process. A safety issue is identified, someone files paperwork, temporary measures are tried first, ballots are collected, studies are done, and then projects enter a queue. It doesn't yet ensure that the highest risk locations, especially those involving children or fatal crashes, receive immediate data-driven attention. These improvements would help make the policy more proactive, more transparent, and more responsive to serious safety risks. Thing right here reiterates same as, correction. One of the biggest weakness, no emergency provision for fatal crashes coupled with a 60-day waiting period. This is the first thing we noticed, and it quite frankly bothers us. The policy treats every complaint the same, whether it's someone thinks cars are driving a bit too fast or the extreme of our Christopher being killed by a vehicle. There is no expedited process for locations where there has already been a fatal collision, a severe injury collision, repeated pedestrian crashes, crashes involving schools or near schools. Instead, every request starts with a level 1 measure and a 60-day evaluation. If everyone knows a road is dangerous, the city will still wait. One of the suggested improvements would be to add language such as any location involving a fatal or life-threatening collision involving a pedestrian, bicyclist, or a child shall immediately qualified for expedited engineering review without requiring completion of a level 1 measure. Allow the city engineer to waive the waiting period when a crash history exists, school zones are involved, engineering data already supports improvements. The second one would be the neighborhood voting requirement. This is probably the largest procedural loophole that we have found. The policy says at least 25% of property owners must respond, and over 67% must approve before level 2 or level 3 improvements can be considered. That means a safety improvement can fail because people never mailed back a ballot or because someone doesn't want a speed bump in front of their property. Public safety shouldn't depend on popularity. One of the suggested improvements would be engineering data should outweigh neighborhood preference. If a location objectively meets warrants for traffic calming, then the city should be able to proceed. For point 3, residents only. Only nearby residents or property owners can initiate the process. What about schools, churches, youth football organizations, people who walk there every single day? All right, present.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. So a suggested improvement, allow requests from schools, PTAs, law enforcement, public agencies, community organizations, parents of affected children. Number 4, no time limits. The policy says projects go into a queue, but never says how long. Could be 6 months, could be 5 years. There is no deadline. Suggested improvement, require expedited attention to fatal crashes. For all other requests, engineering review within 90 days. Council presentation within 120 days. Implementation schedule within 1 year unless funding prevents it. Number 5, no crash thresholds. The document never says if X crashes occur, then Y happens. Most agencies use measurable criteria. This policy doesn't. Suggested improvement. Examples of automatic triggers for review. 1 fatal pedestrian crash, 3 injury crashes in 5 years, 20 phone calls for speeding above 10 miles per hour over limit near schools. Number 6, no annual safety review. The city only acts if someone files paperwork. Why wait for residents? Suggested improvement, require annual review of school zones, parks, previous injury locations, pedestrian corridors. Number 7, school zones receive no special priority. This surprised us. Children are mentioned as a goal, but schools receive no special process. A school zone should automatically receive higher priority. Number 8, no funding commitment. Nothing says the city will allocate money annually. Even if engineers agree, the project only enters a queue. There is no obligation to fund it. Without funding, the policy becomes paperwork. Suggested improvement, create residential traffic safety fund or annual traffic calming budget. Number 9, appeals are weak, coupled with a 2-year waiting period. If denied, the city manager makes the final decision. There is no public hearing. Council review, independent engineer. You cannot submit another similar request for 2 years. That's a long time if conditions worsen or another crash occurs. Suggested improvement, allow appeals to the city council. Allow immediate reconsideration when new crash data exists. New engineering data exists, new school enrollment changes traffic, a serious injury or fatal crash occurs. Number 10, no performance standards. How will you determine if level 1 worked? There are no measurable benchmarks. For example, did speeds decrease? Have violations decreased? By how much? Nothing specifies this. Suggested improvement, require measurable criteria such as 85th percentile speed reduction, average daily traffic, pedestrian conflict observations, collision reductions. Number 11, missing public transparency. There is no requirement to publish pending requests, engineering studies, prioritizing rankings, project status. Residents may have no visibility into where the request stands. Suggested improvement, publish this on the city website. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Felix, would you be willing to give the city manager a copy of your remarks? Yeah, I was going to say they're going to look at it on the tape, but it'd be better if we have it in writing. Right. Thank you. Anybody else? Good evening.
Good evening, Council. My wife and I were here last month at the meeting in support of the Tejada family and the loss of their son. We met Chris Tejada while he was going door to door collecting signatures for his petition to improve safety in Atwater. At that time, we discussed issues we've had for the past 25 years. This is when Chris asked me to speak at the council meeting. During the previous council meeting, it was discussed how police can enforce safety on our streets. A board member mentioned police cannot do it alone. I absolutely agree. I believe there is a nationwide campaign of see something, say something. And that's exactly what I've been trying to do. However, I feel the campaign has been unsuccessful in Atwater. We have lived on Wedgwood Lane, a block away from the tragic incident, for 25 years. We have witnessed many issues and incidents that have occurred in our neighborhood. Over the years, I've spoken with mayors, police chiefs, breakfast with the chief, and other events to explain what I've been happening in our neighborhood. In our neighborhood, there has been speeding, street racing, burnout donuts. There is a neighbor up the street who does vehicle repairs in the street and vehicles left on jack stands. Leaving cars on jack stands is unsafe. Also notice that there is oil and other fluids in the surrounding area. As a retired auto tech, I know these fluids are dangerous, especially to children. In my 25 years on Wedgewood Lane, I've contacted the police numerous times when there was what I believe to be illegal problems. The response was that no units were available to handle the issue. Out of all the calls, only one time a police officer has responded. We really need improvement safety so that other families will not go through the heartbreak that the Hod families are feeling. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your comments. Anybody else? Okay, seeing nobody else come forward, I'm going to close public comment. Okay, Janelle, how would you like to address some of these concerns?
So there is a little bit of clarity that could be provided. I'm not sure. I'm looking at staff, but so the policy as it is written right now, because I know that there was quite a few comments that came above and from the family. It's a policy document and it lays out a clear picture of how a request for a traffic calming measure in a residential area would be provided. So I know there was some question about commercial areas, churches, schools and such. So that would be a little bit different, how a traffic calming measure would be provided in those areas. And then also when a policy is laid out for a city, that would be different as well. So we just want to be clear in that respect. And then what happens after that is also a different measure. That would still need to go before the Planning Commission, and this is all done, the policy is written for staff and what staff does internally when there is an intake form filled out for what we do inside and internally when we receive the intake form. And the idea and the purpose behind this was so we could bring before you and as the public and the city council to deliberate and take in that information. And that was great. All of that information was wonderful for us to be able to take in that information. I don't know if, I know you took a lot of notes, Jose, I saw that. Yeah, please come forward, great. But I want to make that very clear because I hope that you can hear that and understand that we heard all that information.
Jose, as you make your comments, maybe Frank can chime in too, somewhere along the line about the legality.
Yes.
You know, we know there's a lot of issues that need immediate attention, we know that. But we're also constrained too by the law. So we're going to try to work through all this.
Yes, Jose Benavides with JLB Traffic Engineering. My office is at 516 West Shaw, Fresno, California. This is what I would envision will be a living document to the sense that the requests from the community can vary vastly. So it's hard to come up with all the potential solutions. I think it's great that they spent a lot of time. It shows that you guys care because you spent a lot of time reading it. So I would like to see your comments in writing.
Mm-hmm.
But there are certain items that, for example, if we do something that's related to the California MUTCD, whether it be always stops or signals or things of that nature or speeds, those we don't. We do the analysis. We can do it right away, and if the findings support, for example, just hearsay, if an intersection you have a blind corner and one of the solutions while you try to figure things out is to implement quickly and always stop. That was done in the past, for example, at Commerce by the Commercial Center a few years back, maybe 5, 10 years ago. But those type of circumstances, we would not be going out and having any waiting period. We would collect the data right away. There are some times throughout the year that you have to, if it's not collision-based, if it's volume-based, you want to get volumes when they're higher. So for example, if a request for an always stop, for example, comes in at an intersection during the summer, right now it's in most places you will have lower volumes. I think we all know that. So that's why we would have to wait until schools resume for that type of a study. So I think, you know, a lot of the points they brought up are excellent. I would like to see them, but when it comes to the funding, we couldn't say how that's going to happen.
Right. Can you speak to the 60-day waiting period and why?
I don't see, I think we do have a 60-day trial period.
Right.
I don't see and hear anything that says there's a 60-day waiting period to take your, to study it. Yeah, so there's a trial period for if we, let's say there's a corner sight distance issue and an immediate reaction or potential solution is to stripe red curbs at that T intersection or four-way intersection, we would see if that's helping out. And because there are many different items that can take place, we want to see if it was a visibility case, has it improved? We would talk to the people that brought in the complaint. Do you still see that issue taking place? If it's a speeding item, it would have to be an after study, like a before and after study. And in 60 days, it's a time frame to test it whether it's working or not.
A lot of cases, things that are intake that come into the city, depending on, especially with something with the traffic calming measure, when we work with our engineering staff, especially when it comes to traffic, we have to look at the item. It takes time for staff to look at the item, and because we work with JLB and we've worked with them for such a long time, we work with our staff internally. We have to look at those items. It does take time. It just depends on what the case is, and they could come in by the hundreds, they could come in by the fives. It just depends on what the situation is. So because we haven't had a policy like this, it will take staff time, and it is over the summer, like Mr. Benavides was saying. We don't have the school units that we have right now, so we do need school units to be able to look at that, especially in your neighborhood.
Let's do it that way, because it's better that way. Thank you for understanding. Okay. Thank you, Jose. Okay, did you have anything you want to add?
I just want to clarify, with the document that's currently proposed as a policy, it relates to internal operations and processes and how things will be evaluated and treated. It's an internal directive that says staff is to look at, review, process any traffic calming measures or traffic engineering in this way, which is my understanding it's never happened before. I think there was the term that was the law was used. This is a policy document that's intended to direct staff how they are to approach and analyze these issues. And it is intended to be a living and breathing document because there's so many factors that change either in the field that different engineers may have different opinions on. There's engineering judgment that's being used. They have to reference the California MUTCD on occasion. There's all sorts of factors and components. Staff resources will change from thinner staff to larger staff. City resources will change. It's meant to direct staff's operation to ensure they are doing this, and there's a formal process that they have to follow because there hasn't been one to date, which is obviously a very good upshot of this whole thing, this whole tragedy. At least it's forcing this issue. So.
Okay, council comments? Well, I'll start off then. Thank you some very, as Jose mentioned, you guys did a good job of looking through it and dissecting it and whatnot. Appreciate that. You're right, things do need to happen soon. Part of that can be done through enforcement. I know the PD is getting a second traffic officer, I believe. Chief, yeah, we're hiring a new police officer, and we'll have another one that's going to be on traffic detail. I've been saying for a while that we need to make sure we do that first thing in the morning when school starts. We need to also be there in the afternoon when school gets out. My grandchildren go to Juniper School too, and when I go pick up my granddaughter, I see it every single day. Even with increased painting of the red curbs so people don't park, people still park in the middle of the street in the commercial parking zone, which you're not supposed to do in your car. You saw people driving fast, and it's just, I just don't get it. I don't know why people don't care about the children and other people in their community. I just don't get it. Really irritating. But I think there's probably some things that could be done. I'm not going to say what because I'm not the traffic engineer, but we do need to look at this a little bit sooner. I'll let the city manager handle that with her staff. Anyway, any other comments?
No, just that this is a step along the way to get what we want ultimately to ensure the safety of our children. And, government moves at the speed of tortoise. So where we're at right now is actually a huge step in the right direction.
I'm glad you mentioned that about government moving at the speed of a tortoise. Normally, I agree with you on that, at the federal level, because we don't need more federal laws. But at the local level, we do need to. This is our community. We can't wait around. We need to get things done, but we do have parameters we have to work within and with restrictions. But that's why we have the attorney here, we have the city manager, we got the public works director, we have the police department here, and they're all going to be working on this, what we can do maybe before school starts. Come up with some suggestions or whatever. All right, so at this point, we're not voting on this. Staff is going to take this back. They've heard your comments. They're going to review your comments and council comments, and they're going to craft a final policy that addresses those as best they can. And we're going to bring it back at the August 10th meeting. So that's where we are right now. So thank you for being here. You're more than welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but of course you don't have to. Yeah, all right. So we are moving on. We now have the quarterly report from the fire department. Chief?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, staff, and community members. Thank you for the opportunity to provide you the quarterly update for the time period of April through June of 2026. The year-to-date calls are 1,792. Station 41 has ran 1,070 responses. Station 42 is at 722 responses. The Lucas device has been utilized 31 times, and 8 of those utilizations have resulted in the person walking out of the hospital. From the Fire Marshal's office, the assembly inspections per SB 1205, 5 of them have been done for SB 1205. The daycare and residential care facility inspections is at 5 inspections. Multifamily complex inspections, 101, also per SB 1205. School inspections are at 15. Business inspections, current businesses are at 11. New businesses, 17. There were 11 fireworks booths inspected and 2 displays. There's been 4 new Knox box approvals, and the first round of weed abatement inspections were completed. All lots within the city of Atwater were inspected, and 137 were found to be in violation of the city ordinance. Just for the community's information, those properties that were in violation and received a notice for re-inspections will begin on Monday, the 20th of July. The total revenue generated through the Fire Marshal's office for the quarter was $16,316.50. Personnel, the CAL FIRE contract was approved through fiscal year 28-29. The shared mechanic agreement amendment was approved through fiscal year 27-28. We currently have 1 fire apparatus engineer position vacant. An offer has been made to an individual, and we're currently waiting on a decision from that candidate. One of our fire captains was successful in the battalion chief promotional process and is currently on the list for a potential promotion. Some of our public engagement and public education that has occurred in the quarter. The Sound the Alarm event took place with Red Cross. Fire safety presentation at Peggy Heller School. Bellevue Elementary College and Career Fair. The Juniper Elementary Motivational Student Discussions. Buhat Colony High School MCI event. Merced College Student Tour of Station 42. A Career Day at Elmer Wood. Senior interviews at Buhat Colony. Mitchell Senior Restorative Justice Club tour of Station 41. Amazon Reading Extravaganza at Atwater High School. The MDA Fill the Boot event. Open Cockpit Day at Castle Air Museum. And the Women's Veteran Appreciation Dinner at the CVO are just some of the events that were attended. Accomplishments and training. Repairs were completed by the manufacturer to the Type 6 engine at no cost to the city, and it was put back into service on May 20th, and we haven't had any issues with it since. The Type 1 is still on track to be delivered in December or January. The Bendix King portable radios were received and placed into service, and the mobile self-contained breathing air cascade trailer is in service at Station 41 and has passed all its tests. Some upcoming projects. We're still wanting to close out the Office of the State Fire Marshal life safety inspections of the fire stations. OSFM keeps postponing the re-inspections. All of the repairs and issues have been mediated or remedied. We're going to continue to acquire equipment, tools, and resources to outfit the new Type 1 once it arrives. We're working on a replacement truck purchase process for Truck 42. We need to acquire hose for the apparatus that failed the annual pressure test. And the Station 41 tenant improvement and ADA construction process is ongoing. Next up, I was requested to provide some information on responses within the city that were over 8 minutes. And this map here has red and blue dots placed on it. There were 160 responses between January 1st and June 30th that were over an 8-minute response time within the city. 110 of those were Code 3 responses, that's lights and sirens, and 50 were Code 2, normal driving at the normal traffic pace. That's about 7% of the responses in a total over 8 minutes, and 4% being Code 3 responses. I can answer any questions, or try to at least.
So as far as those 8-minute response times, I'm sure you've analyzed those to find out what happened there and how you're going to.
There's been numerous reasons. Multiple responses were because the apparatus were already on responses. So they were having to clear an incident and go to the new incident, which increased the response time. Or an apparatus, say from Station 42, going over towards Atwater High School. It's usually in a long delay, and then some of the time frames seem to be trending between the busier traffic times of the day. In the morning when people are going to work and school, during the lunchtime, and then in the evening when people are traveling home. Seem to be clusters of longer response times within that.
Okay, thank you. Then I had another question about the weed abatement. I know a lot of it's weather related. I know we had hot weather early on, which isn't normal time that you're out doing weed abatement and stuff like that, but it seems like there's still a lot of big fields especially that haven't been remediated yet.
So the ordinance has a process that's built into it. Just because someone's received a violation doesn't mean that we send out the crew that was contracted to forcefully abate the properties. They have to be sent a notice, a re-inspection has to be done, then a second notice is sent to them, and then I believe upon the third inspection, would you like to clarify any of that? Our fire marshal's here and he can speak to the T if that's okay.
Sure.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, so Chief Randall is right. You go out and do a first inspection. We give them a notice. Hopefully at the addresses and everything's all correct. They get 14 days to 21 days to get their weeds taken care of. We go out for a second notice. Once we go out for a second notice has not been taken care of, we then start working on the abatement process with the RPF that we have established. And then I tie in with code enforcement.
Okay, well, it's been a long time since I worked down at Station 1. But to me, it seems it's the same property owners from even back then, almost 20 years ago. Every year, it's the same thing. Isn't there some way you can maybe use a different code or something, or have code enforcement do the enforcement, so we don't have to wait so long and give people 3 times? They know they got to do it. Why can't we just find them right off the get-go?
Yes, there's I can only follow what the city ordinance has for weed abatement, but I could also tie in with code enforcement and see if we can start working with citations.
Well, I think the city manager probably just made a note about that, so thank you. Any council comments? Ryan?
Yes, Chief. So for the replacement truck at 42, are we looking at a new ladder truck? Okay.
That's affirmative.
And that's an expensive apparatus. So when we lend our trucks out to other fires, when we recoup those costs for the usage of our vehicles, are we putting that money in a separate fund to help pay for the new equipment?
When the funds are received from the state for the agreement by hire that they provide for us responding to those are issued to the city. I don't know if they're in a specific account for equipment replacement.
Okay. So, Chief, just so you know, I've worked on this with 3 previous chiefs. Maybe it's something we can work on, because that money should go to a separate line item, so that way it can go to help replace the equipment. That way we know where the money's at. If the city attorney says that's okay, I would love to work on that with you.
Thank you for providing this information, Chief. I did specifically ask about the extended response times. I wasn't clear, is the red dots, those were the ones that were more than 8 minutes, and the blue was within sorry, I missed it.
The red dots are code 3 responses. The blue dots are code 2.
So all of those dots represent a longer than 8 minute response time.
That's correct.
And then I heard you talking about it could be traffic related, but I know that we were specifically interested in this because of the public safety master plan, because we were trying to pinpoint where, because we know we are going to need another fire station, but trying to pinpoint exactly where it would be the most useful for us to place this fire station. I think it's really important for us to continue to have these conversations, because if it's an area where the city's going to need to acquire land, then we need to start planning for that now. So that I know that we don't have the money for a fire station at this very moment, but you know, we could keep our eyes open for grants and things of that nature. And I just want to keep that public safety master plan kind of alive and not shelf it, and recognize the need as to why I originally asked for this data. And I really appreciate you doing that for me. Thank you.
No problem. I believe that our automatic aid agreement that we have with the County of Merced for the closest resource responding, that's area that's been historically identified on the northwest part of town around Atwater High School. You notice there's almost no dots there. And if Engine 63 out of Winton is closer than our resource, it's responding to that northern part of town. And so those dots have drastically decreased, but we're relying on that agreement with the county for that.
I recall having to call for an ambulance for my mother, and that engine from Winton responded within just very few minutes. And you know, usually in those emergent situations, it feels like forever, but there was a very fast response time. So I appreciate that, and I just, you know, want to extend like the importance of us all making sure that we pay attention to these type of things, because it's really important.
I will continue monitoring it.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you also, Chief, for your work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Josh, for that. Good report. And I know, I know what you guys do, so I do appreciate, let staff know, we appreciate everything they do for us. Yeah. All right, so now we're on to the Police Department quarterly report, and I understand it's going to be also a review of the fireworks.
That is correct.
We have to, oh wait, excuse me. We have to do public comment. Hold on a second. Apologize for that. I got too many notes. Is there any public comment on this item? Keith? Yeah, that's okay.
Question, I guess. Listening to the fire marshal, and this is about weed abatement, what the mayor said. If there's a city ordinance, which the fire marshal is going by, why can't the council change that ordinance? I mean, things change all the time. And if we need to simplify the process for them, and especially, I know it feels by me, I have the same problem. And I was just going to ask if the fire marshal could, or fire department could give us an update on the 4th, but I think the police chief is going to do it.
Yeah, police are going to do that. And as far as changing the municipal code, yes, we can do that. We have to know that there's a way around this, so this has been identified this evening. Janelle's making notes over here, so we'll be working on that.
All right, thanks.
Thanks. Any other public comment? Okay, now I'm going to close public comment on that item. Now we're going to go to the police department quarterly update. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council and public. We'll start with the department statistics for the period from April to June of 2026. We had 9,770 total incidents. Of those, 6,338 were calls for service. There were 557 traffic stops, 966 cases generated, 106 traffic collisions, 212 arrests, 476 citations written, and 256 animal control calls. Our accomplishments for this quarter, our officer Roberto Vargas was selected as the Atwater Officer of the Year for 2025, and he was recognized at the countywide dinner in May in Merced. Our dispatcher Faith Avila was selected as the Dispatcher of the Year and was also recognized at a countywide luncheon for Dispatchers of the Year throughout the county in May. Officer Anna Reyes was selected as the hometown hero for 2025 and was recognized at the Victory Baptist Church service in May. And I know he's not here, but since Pastor Miller was mentioned earlier, I'd really like to thank him for doing those honors. I know that they've shown commitment to continue that in his absence, and he's also hoping to carry that with him to Iowa. And it means a lot to the officers that are recognized, and I think it means a lot to his congregation as well. So much appreciated. And our last accomplishment, Lieutenant Bill Novetsky was chosen as the next police chief for the city of Atwater, and he will take office September 1st. Upcoming projects. This has been on here for my entire time here, and I know years before that. The countywide radio infrastructure project. The planned completion as of the time that I made this report was third or fourth quarter of 2026. But we got an update last week that it's actually going to be more like April of 2027. They're still constructing towers, and so it's been bumped out again a little bit. We're adding signage to the police department complex to better identify our location. The sign will be above the doors here. It'll be illuminated, say Atwater Police Department, so you can see it from the street. And the sign is on production now and should be installed here the next month or two. Our traffic safety officer that the mayor mentioned, that application process actually ended today. So we're going to go through the applicants that expressed interest in that position, and we're going to do interviews next week, and we should have that position filled by the end of July. We also have a recruitment for the upcoming lieutenant vacancy that has been started. I didn't mention it here, but since we're talking about traffic a lot, the countywide citation enforcement task force that we've talked about, they'll be here late August around the time of the start of school. So everybody from the county will be out here enforcing traffic around all of our schools that morning. And now, although it doesn't occur in the quarter of April to June, by the time we get to 4th of July and October, it's a little late. So we're going to go ahead and touch on that now. And I'm going to call up Lieutenant Novetsky. He actually worked the enforcement in the evening, and he'll be able to give you an update on that.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. And before I start on our stats for that evening, I just wanted to say thank you to our staff that actually came in. This is a mandatory day, so the majority of the officers were on their days off. So they come in, they give up their day, not being with their families so they could serve the city of Atwater. So I wanted to start by saying thank you to the officers, dispatchers, support staff that came in to help with lost and missing children at our command post. All that takes staffing, and so everybody came together for our police department and came in without complaining, doing it, and we had a successful mission, in my opinion. I also want to thank CAL FIRE Law Enforcement Division. They paired with us prior to the 4th and through the 4th and a little bit after for going out doing proactive patrol for illegal fireworks. And they paired with us during the evening hours, and that proved to be successful for their knowledge of not only the fire codes, but the disposal of the fireworks. And it was a great collaboration, so I want to thank Chief Rendell for that and deploying his team and law enforcement officers from CAL FIRE that responded. I also want to thank code enforcement for also coming in and working on their day off to provide not only support services to us, but they were out there doing a lot of the administrative sites, and I'll cover some of the stats as we move forward. But first and foremost, I did want to say thank you to our police department for stepping up to make it safe for everybody. The Atwater Police Department provided public safety for several events throughout the day, such as the Independence Run, Parade, Ralston Park Festival, and traffic control for the Castle Fireworks Show affecting the traffic flow into the city. We also conducted proactive patrols for illegal fireworks during the evening hours. These events each take a certain set of officers. Kind of circling back, I want to thank Merced PD for the deploying their motors to assist with our traffic control. So we truly appreciate their assistance, and I want to say thank you to the Sheriff's Office for providing Sheriff Explorer, excuse me. And so everybody coming together with these events, as Jim stated, it was a large event, and it does require, a significant number of resources. I want to kind of explain the gravity of what that is, because it's not just the fireworks enforcement piece. When we're doing the traffic control for the fireworks show, so as folks are leaving, we're alleviating traffic congestion for BUHAC, which takes a significant amount of traffic control devices. And so again, I want to say thank you to Public Works. They were also out there with us, helping Sergeant Lee and his team do the traffic enforcement. So it was truly a city-wide event that staff came together for. And I appreciate City Manager Martin's guidance and help with whatever support we needed. So I want to thank her also for that. I'll get to where we're at. So during that mission period, we responded to approximately 154 calls for service during that period, which at night was primarily fireworks, disturbance, shots fired calls were the majority. We also assisted CAL FIRE with a police response for a grass fire near Winton Way and Fruitland. We had a resisting arrest case after an individual was caught with illegal fireworks, which resulted in that subject being taken to jail. The department either issued or is going to be issuing by mail 18 citations for illegal fireworks, and we have 3 cases that they're doing follow-up on. Obviously, these are subject to appeals process, but that is a higher number than what we wrote last year. And so the staffing we had, addition with CAL FIRE, I think we are starting to see the fruits of our labor with code enforcement. And so also I wanted to thank the mayor for showing his support. He came out and gave up his fort to do a ride along with us to kind of show his support and see how we do things on the 4th of July and how labor intensive it is. So if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
Questions? Well, I want to thank you. Your team did a great job. I started at 6. I got home about 1 o'clock in the morning. And really, it's a cat and mouse game trying to catch these people. But it's amazing how stupid some people are when they light off the fireworks right in front of the patrol car. It's like, really? Okay, well, here's your ticket. So, but I wrote with Officer Rivera, and I was amazed at the rapport he had with the children, especially in the determined area. You know, that's kind of a rough area. But really, for the most part, those kids, they were looking for stickers. They wanted those stickers. And unfortunately, Rivera did not have any in his car, so he had to pass on that. As far as the gentleman that went to jail, I happened to roll up on that call as well. And that young man learned, hopefully he's learned his lesson, that when you turn 18, you go to adult jail. You don't go to juvie. So he was a little surprised by that. And it was a good learning experience. I use that with my grandsons. You know, how do you think your mom and dad would feel if they got a phone call from the PD at midnight saying, hey, your son or daughter, we have them down here at the police station. You need to come and get them. I don't think your parents would be too happy with that. So they're kind of like, so hopefully that'll work. One thing I did want to say, though, is that I watched the videos from several other police departments in the valley using drones. And I think that's something we're missing out on. I know we have a drone. I know we don't have a drone operator, but we need to get a drone operator. We need it, first of all, we need to get a drone that's actually going to meet our needs, and then get an operator that can run it. And I think that's going to help with a lot of things. And also, the attorney and I talked today about public nuisances, those properties that habitually have problems. And maybe we need to look at making a public nuisance out of that property for that property owner to get them to comply with the municipal code and having decent tenants and not allowing nefarious activities to occur on their property. So as chief, when you, September 1st, I think that'll be one of the things city manager will be talking to you about. So anyway.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, I want to thank you, but everybody did a great job. It was tiring, but it was very interesting, extremely interesting. Comments? Okay. No other council comments, so now I'm going to open public comment. Any public comment on this item? Well, you got.
I was just going to say, little Brantley will be here in 2 weeks. He wants to see you.
Send them by. Right, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Any public comment? Jim?
You know, Bill mentioned 18 citations for illegal fireworks. You know, I'm glad for it, but as we all know, the numbers of fireworks that were going off, that's horrific. We're under siege, and as I mentioned before, the 4th, you know, we're outgunned. You know, these guys are winning the battle, and it's apparent everywhere you look. But that being said, one of the other things that I noticed during the parade, and I've noticed it every other day, it seems, whenever I'm out, you know, on the streets, these e-bicycles and e-motorcycles are getting to be a real pain. I saw guys, one guy the other day, he had a kid probably 3 years old, 4 years old maybe, riding on the handlebars of an e-bike and probably going 20 mile an hour easily. You know, we talk about this young man that lost his life, you know, and the street stuff and everything. You know, there's going to be more, and the more popular and the more these e-bikes are out on the street, there's going to be problems. Nobody wears a helmet. I don't see any lights. I don't see any reflectors. They're up on sidewalks. They're, you know, on my street. Where I live at the far end of Village Woods down by Oregon, it's not through traffic out there. So we've got kids out there that are just driving like crazy out there because they know they can get away with it. It's just that simple. We've got to figure it out. I don't know if, you know, it's something to do with the vehicle code or if it comes down to an ordinance or something. But somebody is going to get greased, and it isn't going to take long before it happens. The more that I see these things out on the street, these people just think, you know, they're 10 foot tall and bulletproof. They can't, you know, everybody's going to be seen and all that, and it's not happening. So that's a real concern. And lastly, when it comes to, you know, some of the things that I heard about traffic control and everything else, in the upcoming year, I hope that serious consideration to reinstating the volunteer police is done. That is something that we really desperately need.
See, there again, you said stuff I agree with. Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. Anybody else? Okay, see nobody come forward. I'm going to close public comment on that report. Now we're going to move on to the Community Development Department quarterly update. Johnny?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, members of the community. Again, I'm Johnny Land. I'm the Community Development Director. And I've been here for 6 months, and there have been a lot of things that we have done. This is such a great community. We have some great things that are happening now and that are going to be happening soon within the next year. So I'm really excited. So first off, we hired a senior planner. Justin comes from, he actually worked here years ago for about 16 years. And so with him came institutional knowledge that our department desperately needed. And he's helping to to create stability for a department and to create processing. We need to really address our processing, and so I'm really excited about that. We hired a new civil engineering assistant. We did lose a great person, but we did hire a really great person too. So I'm excited for Giselle to work with us. She is fit right in. We're a small but mighty group, so the fit is important as much as the experience. We met with UC Merced to discuss possibilities for internships and workforce development, and the mayor set that meeting up, and I'm really excited about the future of that. There's also some economic development possibilities connecting some of our businesses with the UC, so stay tuned for that. We've met with various stakeholders on several opportunities. I can't really speak in depth about those, but those talks are happening, and it's exciting. The future is exciting. It's economic development specifically, but we have our general plan update. That is on track to either take place and be before the council either Q1 in 2027 or Q2, hopefully no later than the summer. And then the biggest thing over our collective head is the housing element. It has been resubmitted for a final public comment period of 7 days, and then it'll be resubmitted to HCD on July 20th. However, the document itself has already been blessed by HCD, so we are bringing it to the Planning Commission at a special meeting on August 5th, and then to the City Council for consideration on August 10th. So it'll have its second reading. The rezone ordinance will have its second reading on the 24th of August. So stay tuned for that. But we've been working very closely with Rincon, our consultant, but especially the state of California to get that over the finish line. So with housing and planning, we have again submitted the housing element, so that's moving forward. We've prepared recordation of 2 lot line adjustments. Some of those lot line adjustments had been sitting in our queue for months, potentially even a year on one situation, and so it's been great to be able to loosen up the processing for those types of applications. We're processing a final map for the Silver Creek subdivision phase 3. That'll be single family units. We've completed the initial study for the railroad project, and that is moving forward with Mr. Reed's group. We coordinated with the property owner and LAFCO on a proposed annexation, so hopefully you'll see an annexation in the industrial area sometime this next year. We're advancing the Castle Health Center addition project. That second reading was heard today. That was a rezone reading that you heard today. And so we are working with them on a lot merger to complete their project. And then the Planning Commission did approve a 3-lot tentative parcel map, and we're also preparing the final map for that. Our planning technician has been actively involved with the county and GIS. She's been trained, and she's working collaboratively with the county on the GIS expertise she needs to be able to support our city. Our new assistant, engineering assistant, also has GIS background, so I'm looking forward to having both of them trained together to partner in bringing a more interactive GIS opportunity for the citizens so that they can know their zoning, their general plan designation online, so that they can have some of that information before they come into us for specific questions that we can then answer. In engineering, we've had a lot of stuff go on too. We have a road moratorium list that we updated. Again, we did hire somebody who's been helping with all of our encroachment permits now and our inspections. We had been needing this last quarter to rely on QK to support us, which of course, being a contractor, that costs us more money. So I'm looking forward to saving money by having our own staff, and also for her to gain experience with those things. Race communications work is completed. They are continuing to address the community concerns. We've had a few complaints that we are working through. QK is going to begin master plans for water, sewer, and storm. In addition, they have a task order to update our city standards, our engineering standards, which some of those are from like the 70s and 80s. So that will help with our development process, because once we have updated standards, one was brought up by Mr. Vinson regarding solar on our light standards. That'll be really helpful for many of our divisions as we work to create a great community. Building division, we have Castle Family Health submitted project permits. That's one of our bigger projects. And then the Super Walmart also is expanding. And so we understand that that can be difficult for some people because they have to cordon off some parts of Walmart. So have patience with Walmart as they're expanding their drive-through, their pickup area, and going to be able to help those of us who maybe don't have time to go inside. Building permits. This is really exciting. Building, since I've been here, they have just been really doing a great job, and I want to acknowledge building staff. We've had a few situations where we've had staff that was not here because of different reasons, and so, but we have not missed a beat. We've actually been doing exceptional, and I want to give them props for that. We had this last quarter 336 issued permits. We did reject 13 for various reasons. 5 were withdrawn, 2 were revoked, and 11 are still in plan review. So we've actually had a 91%, almost 92% return rate for those permits that were issued. And one other thing I'd like to say to look forward to with building is that we are transitioning our over-the-counter process to electronic, and so staff will, the community will be able to submit over-the-counter permits through our cloud permit process, and that will expedite our over-the-counter permits in a huge way. So stay tuned for that. But that should be happening either this week or next week. So we've been training on that. That's what I meant to, sort of focus on. Economic development. We've had approximately 242 businesses that have paid for or renewed their business license. 56 new business licenses have been issued for Q2. We're working with HDL to bring all of our cannabis businesses into compliance and collecting past due fees. When I walk in the door, our cannabis businesses, there were some issues with those, but they are coming into compliance with the help of HDL. And then we are also working with the Historical Society to raise funds and bring awareness to restore the Bloss House balcony, the balconies. And the other thing that we're doing is I started an economic development and strategy and plan. So hopefully by the next presentation, we'll have some more information about what that looks like. And if you have any questions, of course, I'm here to answer them.
Any questions for Johnny? Kalisa?
I have more of a comment related to race communications. I just want to make sure before we, bring or place on calendar that they've completed all of the work. Maybe we need to bring them back in for another final presentation, and I just want to make sure that we're communicating with the residents to ensure that we're addressing concerns or complaints that residents are bringing forward related to race. I know that it's not, you know, they have a permit and they're here and they're completing the work, and it's not really the city's responsibility per se, but I would like to see the city kind of assisting the residents with the complaints that I continue to hear related to race.
As far as I understand, is we do work with them. They have a claim process. I know in community development, when we receive a complaint, I work with engineering and with Justin and the race crew to try and mitigate those things. And if we have to, we go out and take a look at ourselves. I know we've had a situation where, you know, our staff will look at the plan where the project took place, and we work through with the community members. So we do attempt to do that, and we will continue to do it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
To piggyback off that, if our staff goes out there to reevaluate the scene, do we get recouped for that cost-wise from race, or is that just on our dime?
Well, I would have to take a look at our contract, but generally speaking, that they would. There was a contract that there would be some payments and to us for some of those inspections. Now, I can't guarantee that we're getting everything because we're trying, you know, that contract could be closed, so I can't speak from here, but that's something that I can take a look at and confirm for you if you'd like.
Thank you.
Okay, no further council comments. Is there any public comment on this item?
Some time ago, before Ms. Land even came here, I gave information to a council member regarding all the empty buildings, the residents that are vacant. It went to the prior city manager, and then I think to Connor. And I don't know, are you guys still looking into it? That was a money maker for the city. So I was just wondering, is there an update on that? Are you putting that to rest? Are you still looking into it, or just what?
Janelle?
Some time ago, we had information come regarding a vacant building ordinance, and we can revisit that if the council so chooses. So that's something that the council would have to direct staff to revisit. So that's entirely up to the council.
I thought that we renewed that for in perpetuity. Was there a time limit on that initially from, 2014, Jim? The vacant building sales tax rebate?
Yeah, so that was also talked about, and that's, again, something that council would have to direct to be placed in the budget. There would have to be funds associated with that. So that's, again, council direction.
Okay, then we should look at that for the next meeting. Thank you, City Manager.
Bellevue Road Extension, yeah, that's another good one. Do you have any update on the Bellevue Road Extension?
Yes, actually I do. The Bellevue realignment project is 65% designed, and we have been working with MCAG. Mr. Vincent and I have been working with MCAG to try and look at the funding for up to the 90% designing, and as well as the build out. Between the county and the city and MCAG are working on that project together.
The next funding we need is the right-of-way. Purchase the right-of-way.
What's the funding mechanism for that? Is it going to be broke out SB1 and like that, or how's that?
I believe there are several funding things there.
Yeah, that was supposed to be regional. It is a regional project with MCAG, Merced County. So it is supposed to be going through several different funding sources.
All righty, so, anybody else? Come on up to the microphone, please. I know you're not afraid of the microphone, I know that.
Is there any thought to make the, I guess what we called the Applegate overpass into 4 lanes instead of 2?
I know that Caltrans is looking at it. I've seen several different designs. Of course, I've seen the same designs for like 20 years, but they're aware of it.
So that would be out of the city's jurisdiction?
Kind of, sort of.
But the public doesn't realize is that's not ours. That's a Caltrans overpass. So we have to deal with Caltrans to get them to fix it, expand it, make it brighter.
Okay, I guess my next question would be, are we sending them a letter every month saying, hey, you need to fix that?
They're performing a project study report on it. It's gonna be a lot of money. Funding for it, it's gonna be an issue.
Yeah, so that's one thing. Oh,
You think the city goes slow, Caltrans is like late.
10 years behind on everything. But that's one of the reasons why the Bellevue, getting Bellevue done to Highway 99 is so important, because that's going to help mitigate some of that traffic over there to get them to come to the north side of town rather than going on that exit. So hopefully we can get that push with MCAG and get that done.
Realistically, it could be cheaper to relocate guys.
And almost every other month, when I meet with Caltrans at the Merced County Association of Governments meeting, I always ask for any kind of information on it, of which they have none. So.
Okay. Well, you guys did a great job. Whoever was in charge of getting the money for the road, I think you call it resurfacing. Well, that was awesome. Those are beautiful. Very nice.
Thank you. Well, as I like to say, today's problems were yesterday's solutions. So, we want to try to make sure that when we make decisions today, that we take into account what's going to happen in the future. Can't predict the future, but you can kind of not do knee-jerk reactions, I guess, to things. So, anyway, okay, I think we beat that one to death there.
Mayor, if I may ask a clarification about Councilmember Raymond's request. There was two items. There was the vacant building ordinance, and then there was the sales tax rebate regarding vacant buildings. So
We could probably combine the two.
they're both very, very different.
Okay.
So
They both have the word Bellevue in it.
yes, that's the only
and
that's the
vacant.
only thing
And
that's
vacant.
that's clear.
One is a tax measure, the other one's a
Yes.
enforcement.
Yes. So if I could
Okay,
gather
well,
some clarification, that would be great.
Okay.
And the fact that
I'll send you an
them-
email.
You want it at the next meeting, so the clarification.
Well, the one has already been on the books, so we can get that language, and then we can work on the
Yes,
vacant
but,
building ordinance
okay.
as well.
And it also requires budget, so that's why I was, clarification would be
We'll figure
great.
that out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So now we're on to city council reports. We'll start with District 1. That would be you, sir.
Well, congratulations to Geneva on the artwork. I thought that was adorable. She's not only adorable, she's also very talented, and appreciate that. Congratulations to all the Academy participants. I got to spend one day with them, and I watched them, and I enjoyed them immensely in soaking up all the information that staff was giving them. And I greatly appreciate them reaching out and learning more about the city. Sometimes I wish others would learn more about what we do and how we do it, and how much the staff actually works and does a great job. My prayers and thoughts go out to Joan Paul's family and friends. She was such a positive influence in my life when she was vice principal and dean of the girls when I went to Atwater High School, and to becoming a mentor of mine when I got on the council. And it seemed like every time I did something wrong, I would run into her at Granny's, and she had to talk to me about it. And I greatly appreciate that, because every time I did something good, she was one of the first ones that said, "Thank you very much." She truly loved the city of Atwater, and honestly, she will be missed greatly. Even though she could really be a pain in certain parts of the anatomy, but she really had her heart in the right places. So, Ms. Law, wish you and may you rest in peace.
Okay, thank you. Kalisa?
I also want to express my condolences to Joan Fall's family. I shared to my social media about Joan Fall always stopping by my Girl Scouts booth to buy cookies, and she would visit with my Girl Scouts, and she was always very positive and super generous with both her time and her words. And I thought she was a very classy lady, and my heartfelt condolences go out to her family and friends. I did talk to a constituent a couple of weeks ago who had commented about, and this is related to the e-bikes, who had commented about a posting here at the PD, which I haven't seen, but they said that it was a really good informational flyer for the public, and I was wondering, the constituent asked me, and I told him I would pass it on. It was Mr. Warden, for those of you who know Mr. Warden. He had asked me if we could maybe include that in the public utility bill for people. I don't know how much more that might cost, but just a thought, so that we can better educate the public on those laws and the parents, just to say that we've done a little bit more to inform them. I want
just
to.
touch on that really quick. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
you.
sure.
I think we did put that in the July mailer. Utility.
Oh, good.
And we also
Good.
put it on our Facebook.
Awesome. That's good, because he had asked, and I said, I don't know, I'll check. Clearly, I don't read my bill. I just pay it and move on. But sorry about that. I do also want to say that I was able to attend the Outwater Feed ribbon cutting. I thought it was great. It was very well attended, very well done. It was nice to see our city manager there with her family, and just want to say that. Also want to congratulate the citizens for graduating from the Citizens Academy. I want to tell little Geneva congratulations for her beautiful drawing. I am very interested in continuing the discussion about the vacant building ordinance that we started and stopped and started and stopped. So if we could start again, that would be great. I know we've been through a few community development directors and a city manager now, so hopefully we can get that rekindled. I want to thank the 4th of July committee for all of the work that they did for the parade and for the fireworks show. I thought it was amazing. I was at Castle enjoying the fireworks and got a text from my neighbor about illegal fireworks on our street. And I said, well, I'm not there. I'm at Castle enjoying the fireworks, the legal fireworks, with everyone else. I know it's a lot of work for you guys. I just want to tell you that I think you're a great group of individuals, and I will continue to help you in any way that I can for us to keep this going. So I just want to again say thank you. And then finally, I want to say thank you to our mayor for riding out with the PD that night on the 4th of July. I thought that was an excellent showmanship of good leadership. That was your own time, and you did it on your own time, and that took time away from your family, and I thought that was an amazing thing. So thank you, Mayor, and that's all.
I as well want to give my condolences to Joan Fall's family. Would also like to thank and congratulate the 4th of July committee. You guys did you guys held wonderful events this year. I've heard from community members as well as residents in our neighboring towns how wonderful the parade was, the little festival afterwards, as well as the actual fireworks. And I heard this year was actually a lot easier to get out of Castle, so thank everyone for their participation in that. Speaking of 4th of July, thank you again, Fire Department. You guys treated my family well, letting us ride along on one of the trucks. Definitely a great perspective to see how many people are actually attended the parade from sitting on top of that truck, and to notice how popular my kids are when they're compared to me, because everyone was yelling for them, saying hello, and I didn't even, not even a hey screw you Ambreeze. No, it was a hey Grayson, hey Kaylee. So thank you for that opportunity. Also, I'd like to thank Peace and Grace Insurance Services for inviting me to their mural unveiling. If you have not had the opportunity, it's on 3rd and Cedar. Can't miss it. It's a wonderful piece. Let's see. Also, if I don't say it enough in these meetings, I want staff to know that they are appreciated. I know in the audit and finance meetings I say it, but I probably don't say it enough in this meeting here. So to all of our staff, not just PD and Public Works, because we have more than just those departments. You know, I want them all to know that they are appreciated. Manager. I've heard nothing but good things from the community members as well as staff. So thank you for that.
I don't have much, Mayor. I mean, the other council members have said everything. So to those that know, mega dittos to what my council member said.
Oh, Brian. Okay. Ditto all that. And, but one thing I want to point out too, Gisela, you can pull that up there. So you have probably, anybody who's driven down Linden at First Street has seen the AT&T, I call them service pedestals, that have been graffitied. That's not the best picture there, but this gives you an idea. Anyway, this has been a 4-year effort to get AT&T to step up and do what they're legally required to do in abating that graffiti. And so with the efforts of the interim city manager and Justin, we were able to get it done. They asked for some leeway in it, but they actually got it done the next day after we got the note, after they finally agreed to do it. And so that has been abated, and there's others around town. If you happen to see graffiti like this on service boxes, helpful to use TextMyGov, send a picture. It goes to code enforcement, and they're making a list, and they'll let AT&T know that they need to come out and do some painting. So yes, government does work slow. 4 years to get that done. So thank you. Okay, that is all that I have with that. So before we go to closed session, I do want to read a statement here before we adjourn, obviously. But acknowledging the passing of one of our community's most dedicated public servants, which was former mayor and longtime resident, Miss Joan Fall. It is with great sadness that we share the news of her passing. Joan devoted countless years to serving this community with compassion, integrity, and an unwavering commitment to the city she loved. She was always willing to lend a hand, offer guidance, and put the needs of our residents first. Her leadership and service have left a lasting mark on our city. Beyond her many contributions as mayor, Joan became part of our city family, celebrating our accomplishments, standing by us during difficult times, and she remains a steadfast friend and supporter of this community. On behalf of the City Council and our entire community, we extend our deepest condolences to Joan's family and loved ones. We are profoundly grateful for her years of service, her friendship, and the legacy she leaves behind. She will be remembered with great respect, gratitude, and affection, and she will be deeply missed. Please keep her family and friends and all who knew and loved her in your thoughts as we honor her memory. And I was notified this afternoon that they plan on having the memorial service at Joan Fall Park. When, I don't know, but that's where they want to have it. So Janelle's going to be working with them, the family, to make that happen. So with that, we are going to go to closed session. We have 2 items: conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, and second is public employment, title, city manager. Any speaker cards, anything like that?
No speaker cards or requests for speaking.
Okay. If there are any members of the public who would like to speak, please come to the podium now. Okay, seeing nobody come forward, I'm going to close public comment, and we are going to recess to close session.